This is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I want to talk about something no one really thinks about, but it is so beaten into our heads as something that is normal way to think, or something that's been programmed into children's minds. And that is the ability and the wanting to fly. They might say, wait, what? But think about all the programming we've had beaten into our heads since we were a kid about wanting to fly, right? I believe I can fly. From that to Peter Pan, to all of these movies, always having a character that wishes it could fly or can fly, so that people go, hey, I want to fly. Now you might be listening and go, oh, it would be pretty cool to fly, but even the notion of why would somebody even be thinking about that, right? Like, you think back in the days of the disciples, that Peter was like walking around and he was just like, man, you know what, today is just one of those days, I wish I could fly. So he'd be like, wait, what? Fly? Like what, like that bird's doing? Like, yeah, like, why would you want to do that? You're like, maybe, I don't know, maybe it might get breezy up there. Huh? The reason, this is one of the things that has been, beaten into people's heads, is because of magic. Because one of the things that witches do, as we all know, is what? Levitate. And witches will laugh. They'll be like, that's not necessarily true, and we don't want to levitate. You're out of your mind. Now, it's important to keep in mind that in Scripture, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2, states, wherein time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So clearly in Scripture, God is referring to Lucifer as the prince of the power of the air, and that this spirit now works in the children of disobedience. So this is fully the reason, not part of the reason, fully the reason why levitation and this mind control about flying is so important to them, and that they constantly are shoving it down everyone's throat. And one of the things that witches do is, in their rituals, is they summon demons and spirits, and they levitate, or they can cause things to levitate, right? How many times have we seen things in movies, whether it's horror movie or a Disney movie, where someone has the ability to raise something up, off of the ground, or, Stranger Things, or any of these shows. It's become something so normal you don't even think about it. But if you see it in repetition, like this, then you start to go, oh yeah, they really have been showing us this stuff so much that we're desensitized from it, that it's not even weird. It's not even a thing where we're like, whoa, look, something's flying, or a person's flying.
He can fly! He can fly! He can fly!
You can fly!
He can fly!
I believe I can fly.
Dumbo! The ninth wonder of the universe! The world's only flying elephant!
When you leave the world behind, you can fly. You can fly. You can fly. Perhaps it's a witch. Of course not. Witches have brooms. Clear your minds. Think of Glenn as light as a feather. Concentrate. Okay. Rise. Hey!
It's the power! Holy moly.
first flying lesson. Well, what are you waiting for? Everyone step up to the left side of their broomstick. Mr. Longbottom.
Harry, no way. You heard what Madam Hoop said. Besides, you don't even know how to fly. What an idiot.
Peter Pan's with children, Lois. A fairy tale. Peter Pan's with children, Lois. A fairy tale.
Because this is what repetition does to people. It desensitizes them and it normalizes things. That's why all of this stuff that you see going on in the movies, that you see over and over again, is desensitizing people from these things that witches and Satanists do, from whether it's cannibalism, human sacrifice, levitation, magic, sorcery, and it's normalizing it in our society. Thus, as all of this stuff continues to go on and continues to go forward, they'll be able to come out and they'll be able to go, look, here's the deal. You can now fly if you want. Really? I can fly. I've wanted to fly since I was a kid, since I saw Peter Pan or whatever, Aladdin and the magic carpet and all that stuff. Yeah, okay, what do I have to do? Well, let's start in, we'll show you. There's actually real magic. There is? Magic like Harry Potter? Yeah. Right? And they start showing them what they call, good magic. White magic, whatever this nonsense is, because it's all bad magic. They start teaching them, you do this. And another way that they do that is also through meditation and things like yoga, which is another way that they've normalized, or another reason that they've normalized yoga. Now, please do not comment in the comment section and say, well, yoga cured my bad back and all that stuff. Okay, this is about yoga, meditation, and the fact that, Aleister Crowley was teaching this. And there's idiots out there who write in my comment section, like, Jesus was doing yoga. It's like, what? Oh, you just want to pull your hair out. But it's a form of trance, right? And that's one of the things that meditation and trance are what these witches do in their, rituals when they summon spirits and they summon entities, right? I'm going to read a little description of some of this stuff about levitation. Levitation is a phenomenon of psychokinesis in which objects, people, and animals are lifted into the air without any visibly physical means and float or fly about. The phenomenon has been said to occur in mediumship, shamanism, trances, mystical rapture, and demonic possession. Some cases of levitation appear to be spontaneous, while spiritual or magical adaptations are said to be able to control it consciously. And it says there seems to be general characteristics about levitation. The duration of the phenomenon may last from a few minutes to hours. Generally, it requires a great amount of concentration or being in a state of trance. Physical mediums that have been touched during levitations usually fall back to a surface. Levitations of saints usually are accompanied by a luminous glow around the body. And it talks about actual, in history, at least according to, it's just funny how the history we were taught in school, but then they'll actually come out and they'll say, oh yeah, in history, well, this was supposedly happened, this guy levitated, and people are like, oh, that's not true. But then you talk to them about things that happened in World War II or something, and they're like, how can you question any of that stuff? It's like, wait a minute, but this is what's been documented from, back in the 1500s, like, yeah, no, somebody can't levitate or do that, even though it's in every movie that I watch, but that's fiction. So you would think. It says throughout history, the determining factor for judging whether the practice of levitation is caused by good or evil influence seems to depend on the one doing the levitating. Let's be realistic. It's evil. It was said to be an unusual phenomenon generated by witchcraft, fairies, ghosts, or demons. Even in present-day levitation, it is often thought to be involved in cases of demonic possession. Many time beds, tables, chairs, and other objects have been witnessed flying up in the air, apparently by themselves. They frequently aim themselves at an exorcist or his assistants. So, the point of me doing this video is that these are the little things, right, that they do to normalize the things that witches and Satanists, occultists practice in their teachings. One of the things that they do is levitate. They'll sit there and they'll be like, what's so bad about levitating and all this type of stuff? You know, I've talked to people who have seen people levitate. I mean, I've never seen one because I'm not around any rituals going on or any poltergeists or whatever you want to call, phenomenons. And if I was in a room with witches who were doing a ritual, it wouldn't be pretty for the witches. Now, I'm not saying I'd do anything physically, but verbally, they probably would be pretty embarrassed. They'd probably stop the ritual right in their tracks. But I would not be around those types of things, and I would call out the demons. Nonetheless, the point being, all of these things that you see, you don't realize that you're seeing it over and over for a reason, because when you're desensitized to it, it becomes normal in a sense, where sure, if you were in your room and you saw something levitating off the ground, you'd be freaked out, obviously. You'd think it was a ghost. However, if it came about where they told you and they said there are ways that you can practice through meditation and yoga, wink wink, or a form of magic, paganism, to actually levitate and do these types of things, people would be on board. Just like I said about cannibalism, they'd be on board if they knew it could cure cancer. They'd be on board if they knew it rubbing blood on their face could cure anti-aging. Because everything that they do is manipulating society towards wanting these types of things, because they're pushing it and shoving it down everyone's throat. And the most important thing to remember about levitation and floating in the air is who is the turd of the air. Lucifer. Or as they call him, the god of the air. But he ain't no god to me. So keep in mind when you see some of these things, and you might be like, why do I... am I seeing this over and over? You don't even realize it, right? I mean, how often do you think about how many times they talk about, I wish I could fly, I wish I could be a bird and fly away, and all this stuff. It's subliminal. And it doesn't mean if you've ever thought about being a bird and flying away that, oh man, I'm a because people get carried away when I say something like that. Or if you're somebody who just really wants to be a bird and fly away, or something like that, right? I mean, I'm sure everybody's looked at a bird once, they've been like, wow, I wonder what it would be like. But I'm talking about this constant theme, especially within Disney, right? Which targets kids to want this stuff, because this is how they use and market witchcraft towards them. And witches and stuff will be like, oh, this guy's an idiot, he's crazy. That's because the witches themselves are so stupid. They don't realize how mind control works. They think that everything they're doing is an independent thought because of what they've been told by the media. Oh, yeah, no, I made that decision on my own. I like this shirt because I like the color of it. Well, why do you like the shirt brand? Why do you like the color of the shirt? I just do. No, it's because you're being groomed. You're being breeded like cattle, right? You're being manufactured is the proper word. So levitation and wanting to fly, that whole notion is another way that they just normalize the things that are practiced in the occult. And of course, like I said, levitation for the turd of the air who controls the air, right? As far as I'm concerned, I'll fart in the air and let the turd monster himself, Lucifer, sniff it up. Sorry, that was a little gross, but guy just makes me sick. Lucifer. What a joke. Anyway, thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.